Hello all, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been very long that I haven't posted anything regarding EMREE. It was last year that I prepared for the exam, and I had since then started documenting my journey, because I felt that I was clueless in the beginning. I didn't know where to prepare from. I didn't know how to apply for it. So when I was clueless, I thought I'll document my journey so that whoever is coming after will find it easier to navigate through the process. So this video is mainly to clarify things from my side. Some people have asked me what I'm doing, whether I've gotten into any university. I've also wanted to state a few things regarding EMREE, because the dates have been announced. Starting from December 21st, the first slot, and then there are 8 other dates open, which I'll put up in this video. So I'll first talk about my EMREE journey. So I have completed my MBBS in 2022. I've completed my internship in 2023 from Government Medical College, Kozhikode, in Kerala, India. And since I was a foreign graduate, an international graduate who was appearing for EMREE, it initially itself felt a bit hectic and overwhelming, because there were so many negative ideas around that people have talked, that it's nearly impossible for any foreign graduate or international graduate to get into the residency program in UAE, and it is difficult compared to the nationals, because they prefer the UAE national first, and then the graduates from their own country, then the Arab nationals, and then only the international graduates. But basically, I have written EMREE last year. I have secured a mark of a percentage of 83 and 95th centile. I had gotten one interview call from MBRU, but I didn't get called for the specialty interview. They stated that the seats were limited, so they are unfortunate not to call that time. So that was the thing. I couldn't get through, but my main aim of putting up videos on EMREE was, since I was preparing for EMREE and I was as clueless and as confused, I wanted to make things easier for somebody who's going through the same path. So I just thought that whatever I am gathering information, whatever I am studying, whatever I've compiled so far, I'll put it up in my YouTube channel, and that's what I did. You have to be very, very outstanding in your overall thing, not just the EMREE score. You have to have a great GPA, you have to have a great portfolio that speaks for yourself, that you don't have to state that I'm this and that I am capable of getting into the residency program, and that's a true. So that's a true thing that people tell. Many people have asked whether if I have a very low GPA, do I stand a chance? Do I even need to write EMREE? Is there any slim chance? So you can't completely ignore the fact that it's going to be a cumulative effort of everything. It's your GPA, which you can't change at this point, because most of you have already completed your MBBS, you are in your internship, or you have passed that as well. So you can't change really anything about it. The one thing that you can definitely work on is your EMREE score and your portfolio. Because for EMREE score, what they take into account is your number of attempts. So in one single cycle, if you have failed the first attempt, you can re-attempt in the same cycle, because they have 8 different days open, unlike your NEET PG or your INI, which happens in India, which is a single day exam, which happens once a year or twice a year in case of INI. This is a cycle like exam. So there are 8 different slots open from the beginning itself. You know which are the dates open. So if you have failed in the first attempt, you can reattempt the same cycle, but your number of attempts will be counted, and that will be like a negative point, because your EMREE score is going to be a cumulative of your number of attempts, your percentage, that means the actual percentage that you have secured in the exam, and the percentile. Percentile means how far you have excelled compared to other candidates. So if you have 100th centile, that means you are on the top of the list. If you have 95th centile, that means you have excelled more than 95% of the candidates who have appeared for that exam. So these are the three things that gets into account. So that is one thing that you need to work on. Next thing is portfolio, because some people totally disregard that, and during the application process, the MBRU, which is one of the website that you apply for, one of the university in Dubai, which are the government hospital in Dubai that you apply for the residency program, they have a clear-cut breakdown of how they are shortlisting the candidates for the MMIs and the further interviews. So they give 35% for your GPA, 35% for your EMREE, and rest 30% comes around for your portfolio. Among that, 10%, which means 4 score for research activity participation and 6 score for getting published. So 10 score goes for research. So this is something that we overlook. So this is something that we disregard till the very end. Once the application process starts, we are in a hurry to do something. But research is something that takes time and effort, so you can't do that in the very last moment. So you have to take that into account, get participated in any of the research activity, try to get at least one paper published so that you have that score, secured. Next 4 marks goes for your Dean Award or any accomplishment that you have in college. That also you can't do anything about it at this point. If you have, well and good, but if you don't have, there is absolutely nothing you can do at this point. 4 score goes for your research, any kind of activity that you participate, like in a conference, your paper presentation, poster, symposium, anything. That again, if you have a chance, do that. If you don't have, again, that 4 marks are gone. Next, that corresponds to 18 scores out of 30 for the portfolio. Next, 12 scores goes for your ACLS, BLS, your clinical attachments, your community participations, whatever that you have. So everything need to be in certificate or document format. It has to have a date, and it has to be signed, and it has to be in a printed format, not the written ones. So everything needs to be kept in mind, and you have to provide the correct details and the correct certificate so that you don't miss that score, because every score matters. Then, so this is your overall idea of how you are going to get shortlisted for the next process of the interview. Because your first step is to write EMREE. First step is to create a profile in their website. I've talked about all those steps in my previous videos. You can go watch that out. Next is you attempt the exam. You have to be present in UAE to write the exam, because it is held only in a lane on 8 different days. So you can choose your day, travel, all that arrangements have to be done from your side. And you appear for the exam. It's an MCQ based 120 questions, and there are no negative marks, and it's a 3-hour exam. So you have to be present. You have to travel to UAE to write the exam. Once your exams are done, you'll have your score probably in 3-5 days. And then once the portals are open, the universities open their portal, like DOH for Abu Dhabi, MBRU and DRTP for Dubai, and EHS for all the other Emirates, you start applying to the universities. That again has different application fee. You have to provide different details. Basically, you need some documents, which I have talked about again in my previous video. So you can go watch and make sure that you have all the documents ready prior to the application, because ECE, something called External Credential Evaluator, that requires you to send your documents, original ones, to US to get your overall scores in MBBS converted to an ECE score out of 4. So that's a must document. It takes time, it takes money. So you can arrange that, much ahead of the application starts, so that you are out of the confusion and out of the worries that it creates. And there are other documents that are required. I've talked about that. So all those documents must be ready once the applications are open, and then you apply for the universities. And once they shortlist you, they call you for MMI, which is called multiple mini interviews, which means it's like an OSCE station. There are probably 8 different stations. They'll have a scenario present before you. You don't have to write or do anything. You have to talk. You have to convey how do you deal with that situation. It can be a communication-based, an ethics-based scenario, breaking the bad news. So those are some kind of things that can come in an MMI. Once MMI is over, you get called for the specialty interview. You can choose 2 specialty. So if they select you for one particular specialty, maybe your first choice or second choice, you get called for that specialty interview. In that specialty interview, again, they'll test your aptitude, not actual clinical or some skill. They actually test your aptitude. Why do you choose that specialty? What are the factors, that you can contribute into that specialty? Why do you think you're fit into for that specialty? So those kind of things. Once that again is over, you wait for another probably 3-4 weeks when they send you a mail stating whether you've matched into any university or not. So this is the overall breakdown and overall process of EMREE. So the dates have been announced, so you can definitely make decide at this point whether you want to appear for this cycle, and whether you will stand a chance. So some people have asked that they have a very low GPA. What do they do? Do they need to appear for EMREE? So for that question, I would say that it's your personal choice. Definitely it takes a rigorous amount of effort and money and time. Effort not just for the exam. I think from all this process, once you're through that process, once you're out of that process, the easiest part becomes the exam, the preparing for the exam, appearing for the exam, because the whole documentation process, the whole portfolio, the whole waiting for the MMI, for the specialty interview, because it's a long wait. You may give your exam in December, but you will only know whether you have got selected or not by the end of June, probably at the earliest. So it's roughly 6-7 months of your time, effort and money. And definitely it's not simple money. It takes a lot of money into it, because you need your documentation, you need your data flow, you need your attestations, you need your equivalency done. But that equivalency can be done after you get selected. Then you have other things, like you may be having to do some clinical attachments, research programs. So roughly, I would say it has taken me somewhere between 8,000 to 10,000 dirhams. So it's not simple money. It is some amount of money that you have to put in. So it's definitely up to you whether you want to, spend those much money, because this exam alone will not guarantee you a seat. Unlike in NEET PG, if you secure a rank, from the statistics of the previous year whether you will get into a college, whether you will get your preferred specialty or not. Here it's not like that. It's not a simple and easy process. It's a complicated and multi-step process that at each step you have to put effort, you have to have your time and money spent. And for most of the process, you have to be there in UAE. If you have to write the exam, you have to travel to UAE. If you have to do a clinical attachment, you have to be there. If you have to, attend MMI, you have to be present there. But for specialty interview, I think they give an option of online interview. But for all other purpose, you have to arrange your visa, your stay, everything. So that will be a separate expense, which I've not included in mine because I was already having a residence visa and I was staying there at that point. So that is regarding whether you need to write EMREE, whether you stand a chance, and all those questions. And I think at this point, if you find yourself, committed to this process, then follow along. I am going to provide a 30-day process, because the first exam is going to get on December 21st. So I'll provide whatever I've accumulated so far in terms of the materials or questions. I prepared so many questions also, and even the past files, everything. I'll try to provide and put in my channel. Definitely the sources are, for me, the references were USMLE Step 2 CK First Aid, and then I've taken references from USMLE Step 2 question banks previously. The Med Bullet, which is a great source for medicine questions. They have some 3,000 questions free in their website. Then there was a Lang surgery book for surgery questions. Pediatrics, OBGYN, you can definitely arrange questions for the USMLE Step 2. So these were the references and the past file of EMREE. EMREE also gives a blueprint wherein they have a detailed breakdown of their syllabus. Mainly the focus is on final year subjects, medicine, OBGYN, surgery, pediatrics, and some weightage being given to psychiatry, community medicine, and family medicine. So this is how you go about doing the exam. And definitely, if you find yourself committed to this process, follow along and we will try to break down things. And if you have any doubts, please comment down below and follow along for all the other updates. I'll try to put up whatever I've accumulated, because I've done PPTs for different subjects. I've tried to create questions for different subjects while I was preparing and after I prepared for the exam as well. So I'd try to put up that in the coming days. So that's all the best for all of you who are appearing for this cycle, and thank you.